In a previous lesson, we have discussed how to factor the difference of perfect squares. In this video, we're going to discuss methods that can be used to factor the sum and difference of perfect cubes. We're going to need to start off with two formulas. In our first scenario, we'll have one number cubed added to a second number cubed. In this case, we're going to just use a and b. The second scenario involves a number cubed subtracted from another number cubed. So the first one is our sum, and the second one is our difference. So, for our formula, any problem where two cubes are added together, we're going to write our answer first as a binomial multiplied by a trinomial. Starting off with my binomial, I'm going to look at the first number that I was given, in this case a to the third power. I want to take the cubed root. So the cubed root of a to the third is just a. Likewise, I'm going to take the cubed root of my second value. So the cubed root of b cubed is just b. And I'm going to copy the sign from the original problem into my binomial. The next thing I'm going to do is take my first term that I've gotten in my answer, and I'm going to square it. So a to the second power is a squared. Next, I'm going to take my second term from my binomial, which is b, and I'm going to square that as well. The sign in front of your last term, in this case b squared, will always be a plus. For what's missing in the middle, we are going to multiply a times b, which gives me ab. As for my sign, I want to do the opposite of what I had in my binomial. So the opposite of plus will be a minus in front of my AB. To derive my second formula, I'm going to set up a similar model, a binomial times a trinomial. First, I'll begin with my problem, a to the third power, and the cubed root of a to the third is a. The cubed root of b to the third is b. And my sign is the same as the original problem. For my trinomial, I'm going to begin by squaring my first number and squaring my last number. So I'll have an a squared and a b squared in my problem. The sign in front of b squared will always be positive. And lastly, I will multiply a times b together to give me ab in the middle. And I will change the sign of the binomial to a plus. So now I have two formulas that I can use to do some examples. So next up, let's try some practice problems. Our first example is going to be x cubed minus 8. This problem has a minus sign in between, so it's a difference of cubes. So I'm going to be looking at the second formula in order to solve this problem. So, in my second formula, I began by writing a binomial times a trinomial. For my binomial, I took the cubed root of the first term and the cubed root of the second term, and I kept the sign that was in between. So the cubed root of x to the third is x, the cubed root of 8 is 2, and I keep the minus sign. Next, I'm going to square the first term in my binomial. So x squared will end up in my trinomial, followed by squaring the second term in my binomial. So 2 to the second power is 4. Remember, we keep the sign as positive. The last thing that I'll do to get my middle term is multiply x times 2, which gives me 2x in the middle, and change the sign from what was in the binomial. So my binomial had a minus sign, and I'm going to make this a plus sign. So my answer is x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4. Let's try another problem. (27x cubed plus 1). So in my binomial, I'm going to begin, and I'm going to take the cubed root of 27x to the third, which is 3x. I'm going to keep my plus sign from the problem, and then I'll take the cubed root of 1, which is 1. And now for my trinomial. 3x to the second power will give me 9x squared. And 1 to the second power gives me 1, with a plus sign in front. For my middle term, I'm going to multiply 3 times 1, which is 3x, and change the sign to subtraction. And my final answer is 3x plus 1 times 9x squared minus 3x plus 1. For our last example, we'll do 8y to the third power minus 27. First, my binomial. 8y to the third power. The cubed root of 8y to the third power is 2y. Keep the sign from the problem as subtraction, and the cubed root of 27 is 3. Next, square the first term. Square the second term. Keep a plus sign in front of that last term. Lastly, multiply 2y times 3 to give you 6y, and change the sign from a minus to a plus. So your final answer is 2y minus 3 times 4y squared plus 6y plus 9.